So first, you're at a webinar about email marketing for financial advisors. And I've got a little bit of knowledge, but my two guests today, Olivia Luper and Callie Fedusenko. Sorry, Callie, I can't be the only person that does that, right?
You're not, but it's actually phonetic, so
Yeah. Well, it's easy. It's easy once you look at it, right?
yeah.
So there is a ton of knowledge in this room, decades of marketing experience, and we're talking about it as we we're kicking things off, specifically with financial services, and that's a really important piece to this conversation because, of course, compliance is a big hurdle and a big barrier to entry to people who don't understand the industry. I want to just first say thank you, Olivia. Thank you, Callie, for being here.
Thank
I
you.
couldn't have a better collective think tank around email marketing and marketing in general. Today, we're going to talk about email marketing, and we're going to start with, I keep saying this in my posts. If you guys see my posts on LinkedIn, and I see the two of you as well, your email marketing list, your email list is the most important marketing asset you have. And I wholeheartedly believe that. So we'll start by diving into that. We're going to talk then about effective ways to collect email addresses, and then email strategy implementation, and then finally, how to convert those email addresses into prospects and clients. So it should flow through those four topics. I'll kind of play moderator here, though I think it's kind of going to be more a group discussion than anything else. Let's start off with a little introduction. I get to hear myself all day. Olivia, why don't you talk a little bit about yourself and Lexicon and your background a little bit, and then we'll get into this thing.
Sure, I'll keep it short because I know we have a lot to get to today, but I'm Olivia Luper. I'm the founder of Lexicon Advisor Marketing. We've been in business since 2018 and we only serve financial services pros. We act as your outsourced digital marketing department so that you have access to experts in all digital marketing areas without having to manage or hire all of those experts on your own. I quarterback for you, I build your strategy, and then we do the creation and the implementation to save you time and help you grow your business.
Awesome. That's awesome. Callie, your moment in the sun.
First, Olivia, twinsies. I started in 2017 too.
Really?
Yeah. So I come from a background of working internally at financial firms, doing marketing and even client services, opening accounts, blah. And firsthand experience working with those compliance people. From that, started my own agency to help advisors connect with their target audience. So we do that through content, websites, email, and ads.
Awesome. Thank you guys very much. All right, let's start with that big claim that I make in my post. I see it in yours too. Why is your email list your most valuable marketing asset? Olivia, I'll let you kick off.
Okay, well, I'm going to start off real quick with a brief. What I tell every prospect I ever talk to, every client, there are 3 stages that we have to accomplish in digital marketing to get people to know about us and then buy from us. The first stage is awareness. No one can buy from us if they don't know about us or sign up with us. 2, collecting that lead. So this building your email list. Once they know about us, how are we going to communicate with them after they've left our social post or after they've left our YouTube channel or after they listen to the podcast? We have to collect their email address so that we can accomplish step 3, which is nurturing them into becoming new clients. So in this way, email addresses become marketing gold because of the high ROI on the activity and the direct communication between yourself and the prospect. It's also great for segmenting. The reason it works very well is there's a couple of reasons. We can personalize it and we can segment our audience. So we can send the types of information to people that they need to see. If someone downloads your retirement white paper, we don't want to send them widowhood articles. Or if someone's in the accumulation phase, we don't want to send them how was your last 10 years of retirement email. So that's very important. We're able to speak directly to people and about the topics that we know that they're interested in based on their behavior inside of our ecosystem. Another reason it's a valuable asset is because of client retention. So research continues to show time and time again that financial advising clients expect regular communication from their advisors. In fact, 60% say that more frequent and more personalized contact would give them more confidence in their financial plan. And 85% would consider the frequency and style of communication when actually thinking about signing up. So showing that you are there, showing that you are present, showing that you are going to continue showing up and sharing helpful information gives people a level of trust, gives you a level of credibility, and they're more likely to engage in services with you. So there's just a few points that I had to share on that.
Awesome. Callie, like Olivia kind of laid it out. What else would you add to that?
I would say, all right. It's not really controversial, but I would say someone's IP address is almost as important as their email, but the way you're going to get it is through their email. So what I mean by that is every time you're going on to a website or social media, or checking your email even, your computer is using an IP address, assuming you're not using a VPN. And with that, we can track your activity. And then using that activity, I can then retarget you in ads on Facebook, ads on LinkedIn. I can send you specific emails, just like Olivia was talking about the things that you're interested in. Now emails can change and IP addresses can change, but having both of them is really important. And the way you get it is through the email. Because I mean, how many of us actually know our IP address?
I don't know.
Yeah, no idea.
So there, and we have several, right? I mean, if we've got an office, I know most of, we're working from home today, but I go to a work share office. I might be sitting at the coffee shop, right? So we do have several IP addresses where targeting on the email, I think what I would add to it is the targeting on email is if you've got a good email list, if it's not a purchased email list, if it's an opt-in list, you're reaching just about 100%, real close to 100% of the people in that database. We'll have a low percentage of bounces, right? And of course we'll get some unsubscribes along the way. You can reach 1,000 people with the same effort that you can reach 10. And as long as you're segmented, as long as you know what your communication is and what the value that you're providing to that database is, or that segmented database.
I think the other important piece of why email is superior is because you control it, you own it. Whereas on social media, building a following, I mean, I think last year, Olivia, you got blocked out of LinkedIn, right?
Yeah, I did. I did get blocked out of LinkedIn, and I made a point to say, hey guys, this is the reason that you need to build an email list, because your social profile is not your own. You're not in control of it. And even organic social posts, we're not in control of who sees it. That's why less than 5% of the people in your audience are seeing your post if you're only sharing organically and not active on your channel. So we get the email address, so we are in control and we can continue to stay in contact. God forbid, if we get locked out, if we get our page removed, and it might not be any error of your own. So you don't think, oh, this is above me. I never do anything wrong. I don't have automations on my page or spam bots or whatever. It really can happen to anyone. So, just be aware of that.
Well, and Olivia, if I'm not mistaken, that happened because you were on a popular podcast.
Yes.
A bunch of activity. And so while it was all organic activity and all above board, LinkedIn didn't
flagged you.
Right. So if you look at my, I use a Shield app to look at my LinkedIn metrics, and you can see like thousands of % increase in the number of people who are following, making connection requests, and visiting the page. So it alerted LinkedIn that there was, some suspicious activity, and it was about 10 days before I got my account back.
Tough time, right? And we all put so much effort into building out that network, putting content on there consistently for it just to disappear. That's a great point that you brought up, Callie, is just the ability to own your network instead of letting LinkedIn or, if you're on Instagram or wherever that is, really control. Very good. So this is a great segue into the conversation about social media. I'm going to keep my eye on the time because I know the three of us can probably do this for hours, but so in order to get to all 4 points, but let's talk a little bit about email. And I'll kick this one off, our email versus social media. I'll kick this off because I did a little research before, getting in preparation for today's conversation. the range of ROI for email marketing, we track this through email marketing and events, frankly, but for range of ROI that I found in research was $1 spent gets you $36 in return. Now that's very generalized. That's not financial services. That was the bottom end, $42 was the top end. And again, we track that not only through email, but also through event promotion via email. So social media, now I didn't check ads. Callie, I know you do some advertising. We're talking about
Mhm.
retargeting here. I didn't check ads, but just social media reach. Do you know I couldn't find an ROI for content marketing on social media?
Because it's so low, Charlie. I
Okay.
actually,
Yes, and you know
Yeah.
what I feel like is so scary, and I say scary like seriously, is that there's such a high perceived value of posting on social media for financial advisors,
Yeah.
but they don't understand that if you're just building awareness, but you don't give like people a next step, you're missing out on a lot of potential business because the amount of people that will reach out from social media is so small compared to other areas like email or running them to a funnel or running ads to a funnel that they can opt into. So this is a very important
think
topic.
it's harder to track too. But yeah, if you're not advertising, I have a benchmark PDF, and I'll just give you one example. Facebook, on average, 0.05% of your followers are going to engage with your content. That's not even 1%. It's
And it
like,
might just be your mom and your grandma.
yeah,
Yeah,
right.
same people over and over. Yeah, exactly. To your point, not, and often it's a friend or family that's not, it's not for business anyway, right?
Also, I'm gonna answer half the question that came in because it relates to this. Organic would mean that you're not advertising. It's just what you've posted and somebody responds to it. Basically just means not advertised.
Right. No money.
Yeah, I have noticed a drop off as we're talking about social content versus email. I've noticed a drop off in LinkedIn exposure as well, like
Mm.
like dramatically. And the type of content, here's what is difficult for me. I'll refrain a little bit. I can put a picture up. Like honestly, this is a real life example. I think we've talked about it before, but for those people joining us, I went on a road trip in January, and I put a post up of me in front of my truck and my camper with a rock behind us in Zion, and you guys got like 3,000 views. And while it was a pretty picture and it was Zion and and maybe said a little bit about me, it had no business value. I
Yeah.
suppose maybe it was good for my brand. I don't know, whatever. I put up like the following week a guide, which is probably 21 things every advisor should automate. We do a lot of work in marketing automation and automating processes. I got like 10% the exposure that the picture in front of the rock and Zion got. And so it's really hard to convey value in business when even LinkedIn, the business platform, is going towards a more social aspect to their content.
Well, it's because no one wants to be sold to.
Yeah.
That's true. I mean, it's absolutely true. But I mean, on the, what do we go there to? I mean,
Right.
what are we there for, right?
I
I mean,
know.
things to do, for business. Or are we there to, anyway, I'll refrain a whole lot of comment there because I've got some negative comments about it.
I think that the key differentiator here is that with email marketing, like we mentioned, there's a direct and measurable ROI generally. I mean, let's say that you are now, let's say you're on an organic digital marketing plan, meaning we're not doing any ad spend. We're posting organically to social media. Maybe we have some YouTube videos. We're doing email marketing on the back end. We have some sort of lead generation system in place, whether it's list building, like through social advisors, or whether it's building a funnel. Well, in that case, I would recommend running ads to it. But my point is that it's hard, I think, in financial services to directly look at email marketing and say, what is the ROI on this? More than likely, you're going to be looking at what you're doing as a marketing whole, because social media, email marketing, what's on your website, all of these things work in tandem, right? Which makes attribution pretty tough in financial services. We're not selling a product that we can say this email made $10,000. You know, in some cases, people will attribute, themselves to your email. I heard from you in email, but they could have they could have Googled you, visited your website, went to your social media page, downloaded your lead magnet, then they got in your email and they're going to attribute it to email. Is it emails the attribution source, or is it Google organic search? So more than likely when you're looking at ROI, you're going to if you're not doing any advertising, you're probably going to be looking at, what is the ROI on this as a whole, but you will notice that within those channels, you will get a higher book rate through your email. So you'll see a disparity between, okay, here's the number of people that booked through social, booked through email, got sent through XYPN or WealthRamp or something like that. So, you will see the disparity, even if it's harder to track your ROI on email marketing and financial services.
If we engage in business with somebody who attended today, we might say that was, the ROI on the webinar, right? I will share with you, it'll be exactly what you're saying. It was just south of 70% of people who signed up for this webinar. And we track, where the signups come from. Just under 70% were a result of email. So, and I'll tell you what, LinkedIn, while we push LinkedIn, like LinkedIn events are good. That was like 18% or something like that.
And that's the same across the board for our clients too. When we run, digital or in-person events, a lot of people are coming from the email list, and no, they're not just current clients. They're people, and what my favorite thing to do, well, let's say email marketing party trick is when you start with someone new, and you are able to drum up prospect calls that are already existing in the list. You can say, hey, look, this person is already here.
Yeah.
Now you have an email marketing plan in place. So they've booked the prospect call, and you could possibly be making money and signing clients from people you already have on your list if you're doing, a good job with your email marketing. So there's a lot to be said for it. I mean, I know that we keep going back to that, but
yeah.
So Jeremy's got a good question. So what would your ideal level of success with email marketing? For example, with their newsletter, they look at who opened it, who clicked it, and where they went. I'll offer a little bit on that.
I'll go next.
Yeah. So I think we track that not only on the newsletter, but per user as well, right? So if someone's opening your newsletter every time you send one, and someone's clicking a link every time you send it, that's obviously a really high prospect that's deserving of some more direct outreach, perhaps, maybe a phone call is in order or whatever that might be. Is that a segmented list, right? Is your newsletter the same for everybody? And are you giving them some action to take other than clicking on a link? So
that's what I was going to say. Like if you have, it's really hard to say, oh, 40% is good or 60% is good, because here's why. You might have a client whose 70% of their email list is like, let's say they send one newsletter. They're not doing separate prospect and separate client newsletters. They have one monthly newsletter, goes to prospects, goes to clients. If 70% of their list is clients who are super engaged, they're going to have a super high open rate. If you have someone who has 30% of clients and 70% of prospects, you're going to have a lower open rate and your click-through rate perhaps. So one strategy, of course, is to, some people do send separate newsletters, prospect or client. Some people just have different cadences, which is something I was going to touch on later. How many touches is this list getting per month? What does it look like? How many touches is this list getting per month? What does it look like? How many touches, etc. And that's something that you would start from the beginning before you start sending, random emails, kind of make a plan. But yeah, I think that I kind of lost. Oh, so not really like one number we can give you to say like this is good success. I think you have to look at what your starting point is, and then monitor over time, right? Look at the content that people are clicking on. You can see like patterns and the kind of things that they like. What are the most visited pages on the website, or blogs, or articles that are read? What, you know what I'm saying? Like, so it's hard to like give a blanket answer for that. I think you have to kind of get where
I
you're
would
starting.
say that every client that I work with, in prospect, anyone I talk to, I tell them that there's three things that you need to pay attention to. One, what is your goal? Like end game, what's going to make it a success for you? Two, who is your audience? Tailoring it to them. And then three, what are the steps to get you to that end goal? I'm going to say that everyone on here, main goal is grow your business. You want maybe a specific new type of client? Well, what are the steps to get you there? And then you can track what your success is along that way. But as far as open rate and click rates specifically, I can tell you that the average for the financial industry, according to Campaign Monitor last year, was 27% open your email and 10% click. So 10 out of every 100 who opened the email are then clicking. That at least gives you a baseline to know, is my open and click rate like abysmal?
Falling in line. Yeah. So let's because I'm keeping an eye on time, and again,
Yeah.
we could go through it. Let's give some practical implementation, some ideas for growing that email list. Olivia, like, lead magnets. What do you find that your client's most effective method for building the email list is?
Currently, we have three main methods that we're using for lead generation, meaning we are going to be putting a system in place to generate leads from somewhere, right? So one thing that we can do, I do in conjunction with Charlie, is that we run the LinkedIn list building service for some of our clients. So this is a cheaper option than advertising. And it involves using LinkedIn to look for members of your target audience, sending connection requests, and then sending them a series of messages and emails. Messages to get their email, amongst other things, and then getting them into your email list, and then hopefully working with me to keep up your ongoing email marketing to the people that we're getting into the list. The second option that I like to run in social media for social media advertising is building an offer funnel. We really are bullish on video, so we like to work with explainer video giveaways where people opt in to receive a certain video or exclusive podcast or a guide or checklist type deal. I'm very big on making sure that there's some sort of actionable takeaway that they can have so that they can accomplish something on their own before they come to you, to create this positive feedback loop. Anyways, so that's the funnel that we run in social advertising. We can also use it organically, adding it to your LinkedIn featured section, adding it to the homepage on your website, adding it to any of your third-party XYPN and NAPFA profiles, places like that, to get opt-ins from those places. YouTube. The third option that we do when we run Google Ads is a mini site. It's very similar to a funnel. It just looks a little different. It looks like a miniature website, but really the only option there is to schedule a call with you. So those are the three main forms of lead generation that we're currently doing. We also work with people who are buying leads from other places, like Smart Asset or something like that. And what we would help them do, since they're buying the lead, is help them nurture on the back end. So, but as far as lead gen, those are our three main avenues that we're currently using.
Kelly, I know you've got some experience with advertising. Is that primary, or are you using other methods for building a list as well?
Oh, for building a list. So most of my experience has been on the nurture side. So back to what Olivia was saying in the beginning, the steps to digital marketing, is the brand awareness, and then there's nurturing, and you can nurture. One of the best ways I've been talking about is through email. You can also nurture through social media. So I start our advertising on social at 300, but honestly, that's not going to get you leads unless you have a phenomenal gated content. But I would say,
like your Tony Robbins.
yeah, right. That the 300 is like a baseline for getting you reach and engagement, not emails in, because there's not enough level of trust with the audience at that point. Higher advertising is going to be able to help you get in front of people who are warmer, like a warmer prospect, who are willing to put in the email address. And I would say for leads, I would start at 1,000 and then go up from there, depending on what your goals are.
Yeah,
We
and
use
I always just like to say, like, advertising is like a marketplace, right? Like you're bidding on keywords or you're bidding on space in front of an audience, right? And
Mhm.
so if you're going after high net worth physicians who live in this area and play golf and have three children and a black dog, then there's other people vying for that audience. So whoever is paying more to get in front of that audience is going to. So when you go to look at advertising, it's kind of important too to look at what the marketplace is doing and see where you fit in. Because if the
Mhm.
market is $100 to $150 a day and we're only spending $50 a day, it's what Callie is saying, that it can work for brand awareness, but not necessarily lead gen. So that's, just work with your marketing professional to see what lead collection system you are going to put in place, and actually work with your marketing professional and ask them, how are we going to accomplish all three? How are we building awareness? How are we collecting leads? How are we converting leads to clients? Because that's all, I mean, you need to account, if you have accounted for all of those things and your system is tight, you should be growing your business.
Mhm.
well said. So we use a LinkedIn, Olivia, obviously. So about 90 or 95% of your new connections on LinkedIn make their email address publicly available to you. And so, whether you're, leveraging a system like ours or whether you're doing it manually, when you connect with somebody on LinkedIn, you can certainly send them an introduction email.
Mhm.
You can let them know that you do send value emails from time to time. By no means are you filling up their inbox, and give them the option to opt out of those as well. But you're above board with GDPR, just saying, hello, this is who I am via email, as opposed to that DM box on LinkedIn, which frankly often gets ignored. So pulling those email addresses in is important there. The other thing I want to do real quick is just show a page on our website that is pretty effective, actually.
Show us, show us.
Yeah. So this is just resources we build, right? So
Mhm.
you download this. Obviously, you offer your email address there, and then you go into a nurture sequence that's within our CRM that's scoring you according to how you interact with the follow-up content. But just having lead magnets like this. Now we use these in email marketing as a segmentation tool also.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not
Yes.
just about attracting the emails, but being able to segment and personalize the communication within email. So
I love
get
that. That's a
yeah,
good share. Thanks, Charlie.
get a better
Uh,
understanding. And that stuff, like, I don't want to give away our secrets, you guys, but that stuff is not that hard to reproduce in Canva, right?
yeah.
So it's not that hard to make happen. So
I would be curious to hear from the audience a little bit about where you are in your email journey, because I think that could help us give some
Right,
practical
right, right.
advice to you, because maybe you're not at a place where you can be doing drip campaigns. Maybe you're just sending, newsletter that somebody talked about. If predominantly everybody's just sending a newsletter, we can give some ideas on how you could um, make them better.
yeah,
So,
Well,
audience participation here.
yeah.
while we wait for folks to answer, I would like to say it's sort of on the same topic. Um, that one, newsletters are not dead. People still really very much like them. And the great thing about them is that you can make it your own. There are no rules, right? So if you want the whole thing to be curated content from something else, not my recommendation, but you could do it. But it gives like a good feel for the firm, the newsletter. Are you cold and sterile? Are you warm and approachable? Are you funny? I mean, it gives a little peek
Personality.
behind the curtain into what your culture is like, if they're going to like you. I mean, my CPA's newsletter is terrible. It's terrible. And but that's how he is. He's a great CPA, but his newsletter is just like, I've never opened it. But maybe there's people who like it. I mean, maybe.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's a chance to give a reflection of your firm and share things that both your clients and prospects will appreciate.
Yeah. Trevor makes a good point in chat, says personality. Yes. Right. Like,
Yeah.
share something about yourself. Obviously the world of sales has changed dramatically with information at our fingertips. Uh, you know, y- People don't need you for the information so much anymore. I had an advisor say to me one day, we're all fishing with the same bait. I don't think that's necessarily true, but he makes an important point, right? Is we've got access to similar tools, right? We provide similar services. A lot of times it's that know you, like you, trust you aspect of relationship
Mhm.
that creates that client
Mhm.
conversion. So make sure to share something personal there. Tell a story about yourself.
Sam is saying, I know I need to do drip campaigns, but don't know what those emails should be. If you have nothing else, I will start with a welcome email sequence for people who opt into your list from anywhere. So if you don't have a lead magnet yet, or you don't have any other sort of opt-in system like a funnel, and you are relying on people to just join your email list. I mean, we have to have something, right? This is sort of like the barrier entry level to opt-ins is join the email list. You can create a landing page either on the back end of your website or in your email marketing platform. I recommend on the back end of your website when possible because it will use or whichever program, some of them do it, but using your own domain for credibility purposes. Um, but you'll build a landing page to opt into your email list. You likely also have a contact us form on your website. So when anybody would fill one of those out, they would get entered into your welcome email sequence. The ones that you write are usually about 7 emails. The first one is a welcome email. And lucky for everyone here, I'm going to share the free welcome email template with you. I've put it in the chat. You don't have to opt in. You can just, it's free. You can just have it. I mean, I have your email now anyway, because you're at the webinar. But yeah, so my emails are usually 7 welcome email. And the final email is, hey, are you ready to chat? Let's meet, schedule a call. The in between can be a number of things, sharing more of your assets or resources, going over your process a little bit, sharing client success stories. If you collect testimonials, it's a great place to share testimonials. Anyways, there's a lot there, but if there's anything if you want to get started with email marketing, I recommend writing a welcome email sequence. That's step 1.
I also would say, oh, Charlie, I think you were muted for a second. I would also say that we tell our clients to do 70-30, 70% educational, 30% personal. Like people want to know the human behind the financial advice. Otherwise they'd be hiring robo advisor.
Right. Yeah, that's a very important point. I see, was it David was asking, so a tip here, David. David's got a newsletter open rates of 60 to 75%. That's awesome. To
Saw that.
schedule a call, but it's not really converting. So it's doing from the front end analytics, it's awesome. But there's no conversion whatsoever. David, I'll tell you what, we do we do a lot of event marketing for our advisor clients, right? So all that I think the email process in large part is a nurturing process. We talked about it already with nurturing with email, nurturing with social media. We find that when you do a webinar or even an in-person event, those people that are committing their time to your webinar, they're ready for a deeper conversation, right? So we actually leverage email more to get webinar attendees than we do to convert into a specific one-on-one appointment. That webinar then is the conversion tool that schedules the appointment. So I hope that's helpful, David. You can obviously drop me a line directly if
Just said thanks, Charlie. Great tip.
you got it. You got it.
Can I just say, Steve and I do this every day, and I relate so much to your comment of being overwhelmed by the steps, technology, and process. Like, it's a lot. So it's a lot to tackle.
Yeah.
He's asking about technology, and we were actually chatting a little bit before this started. Each of us are on a different CRM. I personally am on ActiveCampaign, but I have had a couple, as Olivia was saying, each platform's quirky. And I'm a little irritated with some of the quirks of ActiveCampaign, but I do still really love it. And that's what I use with clients as well. Charlie and Olivia, what are you guys using? Maybe Mark, or not Mark. Who was it? Steven can, look into what we're using first when he's starting out his search.
First thing I would say is, Stephen, if you're with an IBD, make sure you're, obviously make sure you're talking to compliance. If you're RIA, that makes things a little bit different. We use a platform called Go High Level. And actually, full disclosure, a reseller of that platform as well. It's easy to use. Unlike other platforms, it doesn't charge you as your email list grows. But of course, they find ways to, kind of charge you ancillary costs for verifying emails and things along those lines. So they get their money. But I like it. We can build landing pages there, all of your email automations, your one-off emails, your newsletters. You can use it as a CRM for prospecting. It's got a visual pipeline, so it's a pretty cool platform. Go high level if you want more information on it. You'll get an email follow-up from this. So certainly respond to that and can tell you more about that. Olivia, you were talking about Keep earlier.
Oh yeah. So my recommendation for technology is based on how robust your digital marketing plan is. So
A
if
good
you're
point.
someone who wants to build a proper funnel, I'm gonna have to put you on something that is more robust and therefore more expensive. If you're just regular running straight drip campaigns like from a lead magnet, but we don't have multiple landing pages or something like that, or if we're just, we can get away with doing like a MailChimp or a Constant Contact. And like Callie was saying, we were talking about earlier, there are going to be drawbacks to each platform. Like, for example, MailChimp took away, well, I'm not going to, it will confuse you, I think, but MailChimp took away some capabilities that they used to have, which are making downloads from the website,
Mm.
having to do workarounds. So it's really, again, I would talk to somebody who's in marketing and tell them about your situation and see, what is the size of your database? What are you sending out currently? What are your plans for the next 6 to 12 months in terms of digital marketing? And that can kind of tell you where you need to go. But yeah, we
Really,
get clients on Keep, Active Campaign, HubSpot.
yeah.
Those are the main.
I want to address John Peters' question here because I want to hear y'all's feedback as well. And yes, I said y'all because I'm in Nashville. He was asking for the newsletter, what frequency, weekly, monthly, other, in what size of newsletter? How much content is too much? How much is too little? And I specifically want to focus on the how much is too much and how much is too little, because I've been told every email should just have one topic. But specifically for my newsletter, I found more topics is better. So I'd love to hear from Charlie and Olivia what you have found. Do you have any firsthand experience and what you suggest?
So first, as far as frequency, we usually will recommend twice a month. Now, a newsletter is typically a once a month thing, but maybe
Yeah.
you've got another piece of communication, something you're celebrating, whatever it might be. When you do that, watch your unsubscribes, right? Because if you're actively building your email database on the front end, we don't want to be turning people away with the type of communication or too much communication. So if
Mm-hmm.
your unsubscribe stays steady, you might even go to once a week. So now at Social Advisors, we do once a week. Our clients are typically doing twice a month, but in once a week, Callie, we go the opposite route. I'm talking about one topic once a week.
Mm-hmm. And that's what
Sometimes,
that's what
yeah,
I've heard from a lot of people.
yeah,
Um,
that's our case.
our
Sometimes it's marketing something like this.
right.
Or this, yeah.
Our clients, we do an intro, one main piece of content, and then two supplemental for their newsletters. And that seems to work pretty well. And I use a similar formula for my own. But definitely I did less topics for mine, and I noticed I did not get as many clicks.
Interesting.
But that is why the data is so important for you and your brand and firm. You need to be tracking that, because
What do people
what's
like that
working
you're
for
doing?
Charlie, it might not work for me, and what works for me might not work for Charlie. Olivia, what about you in newsletters?
So when we start out with a new client, we kind of look at if they've been sending newsletter, what they have been doing, and look at the data. What do
Yeah.
people already like? And I ask them, what do you like or dislike about your newsletter? And if they are indifferent or have never done a newsletter, then we start with a pretty basic, like short intro, something, personable, relatable. We share any recent content that we made, whether it's new videos or blogs. I like to do an around the firm section where we can share any awards, any personal development. Some of my clients are open to like sharing family photos. So, summer vacation photos or, and that's personal choice. It's totally up to you. I will say that clients especially love that kind of stuff, like the personal stuff, because they like to see what you're up to when you're not doing, your twice a year meeting or whatever. And it makes them feel like involved, and on the note of involved, sometimes we'll run contests. Like I know one
Mhm.
time we did one of my New Hampshire clients, we did, I don't know, I think it was the spring, a photo contest where they could submit photos, and the next month we put all the photos in, and then the month after that we said who was the winner, and then we featured them in our banner art for that next newsletter. So, just different ways to engage with your audience. And it's going to be very specific to who you are, because an asset manager who serves mostly engineers, their clients don't give a crap about a photo contest. They don't, you know what I mean? Like they're just like not focused on that at all. So you just
Yeah.
have to know your audience and kind of like come up with some creative ideas and test. Does this work? Does this not? Does my audience like it when I have this or this, or
Right.
look at your click map, see where people are going.
Yeah, I think you bring up a really good point, and Callie, I think the style that you run with your newsletter,
Hmm.
like if you varied that right now, it might be a disconnect from the audience you've been nurturing for a long time.
Hmm.
If I started going to once a month or twice a month and filling a page full of content, same thing could happen. So I don't
Right.
know, is one better than the other? I don't know. But Olivia, you brought up an important point of really it boils down to understanding the audience,
Yeah. Yep.
right? Who are you talking to, and providing information that aligns. If you're working with retirees, listen, I think they're really excited about the personal stuff, right?
Yeah.
A lot of
Yeah.
social relationships went away when the job went away,
And
Hmm.
right?
young families too, kind of like that. Like especially if you're a young family, you're serving young families. But um, yeah, so think about what your audience is like, test, see what you can come up with. Okay, Jeremy, I know you want to talk about compliance, so let's just talk about it. I'm not really sure that I understand your first message, so I'll just let Charlie's response serve as a fine response, because I don't really understand what you're saying about we have two sides and one side. But anyways,
Yeah.
as far as compliance goes, like I do work with a few. Well, let me just preface this by saying I mostly only work with independent RIAs. Very few, like 20% maybe or fewer, are like with a BD. So, and not a big one like Edward Jones or something. It's like y- you know, just like our small business guys. And so I think the most like LPL requires that they use constant contact. But if you're an LPL hybrid wealth manager advisor, I can get you on Keep. Like I think there's always an option. Like there's something that we can do. And I've talked to all kinds of kinds like over the years, that we can't do this, but we can do this. We can't do this, but we can do this. There is a way. There is a way, even with, Northwestern Mutual. I know you have your kind of like mini sites that they give you, and you can only use a contact form. But we can work within the boundaries of what compliance is telling you. I think that it feels overwhelming, it feels very restrictive, but maybe, just because you're not used to seeing the entire marketing spectrum of available tools. So like maybe just consulting with someone on your situation might be able to reveal what technology would work in your situation.
I'll say, I work with a few advisors who are running a second company, and I'm wondering if maybe that's what's going on here. And the second company is unrelated to the finance industry. And of course, we have a lot more availability there, but we can't mention one company in the other company's content. So yeah, compliance is tricky, and it not only depends on your compliance with your firm, it depends on the person who's reviewing your content
That
and how they
day.
feel that day.
It's subjective, right? And
Mm-hmm.
we have a situation oftentimes where we might submit a newsletter or a piece of content that comes back with changes. Actually, that they don't come back with changes that often, but when they do, they might come back with different changes the next time
Yes.
because they're being reviewed by a different person in
And I would
compliance.
say it's okay to fight it too. I mean, you don't want to become that person where they're like, oh, geez, is that him again? But I think if somebody already told you it's okay, then you can be like, hey, please reference this ad
Yeah,
tracks from
yeah.
a month ago where you told me the opposite.
As
Yeah.
far as approved tools, the platforms we're talking about, all kind of have a core functionality that's going to be the same.
Yeah.
Like Keep is probably superior to Constant Contact for building funnels, but Constant Contact certainly has an automation component that allows you to do that, right? Like Go High Level does,
Mhm.
like ActiveCampaign does, like MailChimp does. The basics of marketing automation are built into each one of these platforms. Now, if you're with a captive broker dealer, you're you're going to be handcuffed there pretty good.
Yeah.
But if you're with an independent broker dealer, obviously as an RIA, you've got some flexibility. And Olivia, you're right. Our LPL clients are all on Constant Contact.
Yeah, in one hub.
Most
Yeah.
of my clients are on Outlook. And you know what?
Yeah,
We
well,
lose a
listen,
lot of data, but hey, I can still see your website traffic. So I know people are clicking on those links. So it's still possible to run campaigns and make a marketing plan, even if you don't have all of the tools available.
Yeah, and I think what's cool about this group, you guys, is we've worked with advisors from
Mm,
every segment of the industry, right? Between the three of
mhm.
us. So you got a good resource here. But yeah, Jeremy, if you want to talk about the tools specifically that they allow, I think one of the three of us is going to have experience with it, I'm sure.
I don't know what this, I don't have a fancy Zoom. So what does it mean? Sam's hand is up.
Somebody's hand is up.
Sam's got a question. We can give me a second. Let's allow Sam to talk, huh? All right, Sam, if you unmute yourself, you're all set. Or you could, if you don't want to, Sam, you could certainly type it in chat as well.
Oh.
Sorry, Sam, for calling you out. For everybody else, Sam didn't mean to raise his hand.
One thing that I was gonna say earlier, this kind of I think, I don't know, maybe I said it right, I don't think I did. Is kind of like determining what your email cadence is gonna be for each list, right? Like when you're deciding, okay, I want to get into email marketing, because I'm building awareness already and I'm collecting leads, and I know that if I'm doing all this work to collect these leads, that I've got to do something with them on the back end, or I'm throwing my money out the window and my time. One thing to do first is just look at your lists and decide how often you want to interact with each of them and what kind of content they're going to get. Put out a monthly, get out free printable monthly calendar, write it with a pencil or do whatever you do in the internet, make a board or something. But decide how often you're going to talk to clients, what you're going to send them, how often you're going to talk to prospects, what you're going to send them. As a general rule of thumb, my the clients on the most popular package that we have are sending at least 4 emails a month. Generally, it looks like newsletter goes to everyone, week 1. Week 2, maybe we're sending out one of their new blogs or one of their new videos to everyone. Week 3, maybe we're sending a sales email, but of course, this is only going to go to prospects. We're not going to send sales emails to clients. And then maybe week 4, it's another piece of new content or a special announcement that goes to everyone. So my rule of thumb I like is that prospects should be touched at least once a week. Some people do more. Not all of those touches, of course, should be sales emails. Like Callie was saying, you want a good blend of added value, educational resources, and then asking at a lower rate for book the call. People need an opportunity to sign up with you.
Mhm.
You have to give them opportunities over and over and over and over again. That's why targeted ads work. That's why email marketing works, because life is busy. People get hurried. Maybe they've been thinking about doing X, Y, and Z for 6 months. They want to buy a huge life insurance policy or something, but they just haven't done it. But you know what? One day they're going to open your email and they're going to say, you know what? I really just have to do this now.
Today's the
Let me
day.
schedule this call. What do you got? $100,000 commission or whatever the hell you guys make. I don't know. So all I'm saying is that if you don't give people the opportunity to buy, they're not going to more often than not, unless they have a super, super big problem that has to get solved right now. So that's another thing. Whenever you're emailing people, you got to understand there's going to be people in 3 buckets. Well, maybe 4. They want to buy right now. I have a problem and need it fixed. I need someone to help me fix this problem. I know this problem is on the second person is I know this problem is on the horizon. It's something that I care about. I will have to deal with this eventually. The third person, it's far off in the future. So you want content that's going to speak to each of those kind of 3 stages, and always give people an opportunity to move to a further stage. So maybe we get someone out of bucket 3 and into bucket 2, and out of bucket 2 and into bucket 1, where people are actually booking the calls. And that's what we're doing with our email. That's what we're doing with our retargeting. Always give people an opportunity to buy. So figure out how many emails you want to send to each list, make a content calendar, work with your professional to get that done, or, internally if you're solo and kind of bootstrapping it right now. And that'll give you a lot of confidence in your ability to go forward with email marketing.
Love that. It plays into Terry's question here about defining a sales email versus educational. I really think that the call to action defines that. Right. So with your cadence, you need to be providing calls to action along the way. I don't, and you guys may disagree with me, I don't know that that's got to be every single email. It's
A CTA.
Yeah. Well, a call to action to book a call. That's
Oh,
that's what
no, I mean, sometimes you can do direct response, and that can be very valuable too. So one thing that we'll do with advisors who want to start an email marketing cadence, but haven't been using their list, and they're like, my list is going to freak out because I'm going to start sending them emails every week. And I'm going to say, yes, you're right. That is probably true. So what we would do is run like 4 or 5 email re-engagement campaign, letting people know, hey, it's so-and-so, you may have gotten on my list by these means. This is who we are. This is what you can expect from us in the future. We'll be sharing some helpful resources, info about upcoming events, things like that, to let them know, hey, we're going to be sending emails now, and you're on the list. You can subscribe, unsubscribe at any time, but if you'd like to stay and be a part of our network and community, this is what you can expect. And in those 4 or 5 emails, a lot of times we'll put direct response, meaning we're just going to ask them to reply to the email and tell us something. What is your #1 financial challenge right now? And you'll be surprised how many people answer. On average, we get like 10% people respond to re-engagement campaigns. And those are people that, hello, the conversation is right on your plate now. You have a chance to talk to them, what they're going to answer about. And I do this with marketing. What's your #1 marketing challenge right now? And so was like, we really need to redo our website. Guess what? I'm going to be talking to him about redoing his website. So it doesn't always have to be a CTA to book a call. It can be a direct response, which make sure someone's going to answer it.
I know we're down to like 6 minutes now, and something I like to talk about that we haven't yet is email subject line. Because I went to a FinCon conference recently, and I went to this YouTube session. Look at the word there. Something he said, and I think it relates to email too, is 75% of your time should be spent on getting the click. 25% of your time should be spent on winning the click. Like, okay, you've gotten it, and now you've got to show them, hey, this is what you're getting. It was worth your click.
Yeah.
But the email subject is vital to getting people to open the email in the first place.
Right.
Yeah.
That's key, right? Because if we can't open the email, we're not going to get to what we want them to do next. What's the next step? They're not going to get to it.
Right. So most of the email subject lines I send through a tester. Right. If you're curious on how your email subject line ranks, just Google subject line tester. And there's free resources out there that will not only tell you why it's not good, but here's how you make it better. And so I'll tell you, like, I think it's 45 characters, under 45 characters, under 6 words.
Yeah, I'll tell you why right here.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah. There's 25 or 30 words you'd want to consider getting into your email subject line that's going to trigger a higher open rate on it. So an email tester line, just testing those email subject lines. And there's people out there that specialize in email subject lines. Right. So
and I know that some, at least with Raymond James, for their advisors, they have to put ADV in the subject line.
Okay.
I'm not sure if other people have to do that too, and I also actually at this moment can't remember if you can put it at the end of your email subject, but that would be ideal if compliance will let you do that.
Yeah. I think equally as important is like the preview. Most email has preview now. So you've got maybe 15 or 20 words of preview that you can. Kelly, I want to ask you one more question as we're running out of time here. We
Yeah,
still got
you're right.
questions coming in. But I want to ask you one more question. You know, Olivia gave some great tips on conversion. If you've got a single tip on conversion that is helpful for our audience before they go, because that's kind of something that we talked a lot about the importance, how to build it.
Mhm.
What's the best way to convert people off of email?
Well, it's going to go back to those three things. What's your goal and what are the steps to get you there? So the conversion is really going to depend on what I'm trying to convert them to.
Yeah.
Do I want a call? Do I want an email? Do I just want engagement?
Yeah.
I would say that 100% of my clients have their clients come in and mention the newsletter. And I consider that a huge win because not only does that mean the content's resonating with them, they're remembering it, and the likelihood of them sharing it with somebody else is going to be super high. So it's hard for me to give a direct answer on conversion because it's really dependent on what you're trying to achieve.
Yeah, we've talked about events already.
Yeah.
We use those resources on the website, and we do that for advisors as well. So those are good for email. If we send that out to our database and we get a 5% click on it, we know those people are specifically interested in that.
Mm-hmm.
Events like this. Now the advisors are going to be running different events, but the people who signed up out of our email databases, well, they're interested in email marketing and learning more about it, right? So there's an opportunity for direct outreach there.
And some email marketing platforms, like I know Aweber does this, is that you can attach a tag to a link. So like inside your email, let's say you shared 3 resources, something that we might do in a welcome email sequence. You might be interested, if you like this guide, you might also be interested in these, and provide them links to them. Inside of your email marketing platform, some of them you can set it up where if Johnny clicks link 2, he'll be tagged as whatever you name the tag. So you would put whatever the topic is, right? Like real estate investing or whatever it is that it was about. And then you would know Johnny and the 40 other people on this tag clicked on real estate investing. And then you can specifically send them content on that and keep them engaged, right? Because if we know they're interested in email marketing and we send them in emails about emails, they're likely to open our email.
That's it, right? You guys, we are at the top of the hour. This has been one of the more interactive, not only the 3 of us, obviously, but a lot of input from our audience. So that was great. And I'll tell you again, I know why people follow the 2 of you. You got a lot of knowledge, Kelly. I'm not kidding, right? So we're all good at what we do, right? And advisors are good at what they do. And so working together in some collaborative environment helps everybody. So Callie, Olivia, thank you so much for taking time out of your day and hanging out with me.
Thank you for having us. It was fun.
Yeah, super fun. And listen, we had a lot of attendees, you guys. So for those who are still here, we'll get an email out tomorrow. So there'll be a replay for everybody that registered. Obviously, Callie and Olivia and I are all very active on LinkedIn. We're easy to find there. I don't know if you guys want to put your contact info in the chat real quick. But I'll put my email address in there. Probably the easiest.
What did you say, Charlie, is the easiest?
I'm just putting my email address in the chat.
Oh, I'm just going to put my LinkedIn, and then
there you go.
Everything is in my featured section, so you can find anything you want.
There you go. Very cool. So everybody who hung out with us for the hour, thank you very much for spending your time. Again,
hi, Greg. Thank you. Sorry.
At all. Appreciate you guys. Anybody with questions, reach out. Like, we're helpful people, not just people growing businesses, but we're here to help as well. So, all right. Thank you guys.
Thank you. Take care.
Thanks. Bye.